Welcome to the Takeover with Tim and Cindy, where we show you how to dominate every area of life and business. Let's get winning. Welcome to the Takeover with Tim and Cindy. Today we're going to talk about why culture is the number one thing that will not only make or break your business, but it's the number one thing that'll make or break your joy and happiness and success in life, period. Now, we have a firsthand experience of the impact of really bad culture. Maybe some of you have had an experience of really great culture or really bad culture, but culture is one of those things that you don't really realize. You know about it, you hear about it, you talk about it. Every book talks about it. Every leader talks about it. We all hear it, but it's almost like white noise. We don't really. It's like Charlie Brown's parents. It's there in the background, but we don't really know it until we've either experienced really great culture and the impact of that, or really bad culture. And I think we had the experience of the bad culture where you just never want to be there again. And if you haven't watched episode number 1, you got to watch it. We kind of tell a little bit about our story and how when we first got married, I had a business that we had 200 something retainer clients, business crashes on our wedding month, bad culture, blah, blah, blah. Won't get too into that. Go watch the episode. Fantastic. Now, today we're going to walk you through a little bit about our story, but specifically actionable items on how you can build a great culture where you kind of have two options, right? Just imagine, let's just paint this picture really quick, and then I want to pass it over to you to kind of walk through, because you're really good at building culture. You have two stories. You can either build a company and make some money, but you don't enjoy the people you work with. You don't enjoy the culture. You're getting burned out. You're stressed out. You go on a vacation. The company's going to crash. No one can take the helm. You're the only one who has to do everything if it's going to get done right. Now let's paint another picture. You have a company that's running. It's highly profitable. The teammates are bought in. You enjoy talking and working with every one of those people. If you go on a vacation, the company, you keep growing, you keep getting clients. You probably get even more clients when you're gone. The team's taking charge. The clients are getting delivered. The clients are getting fulfilled. Anytime you meet with any one of your employees or a team meeting, you're excited. You're energized. You walk away from the day fulfilled and energized about the team. That is the difference between great culture and, bad culture. So I'm going to pass it off to you, Cindy. Everybody kind of talks about culture, but what is culture?
Yeah, it's a word that's thrown around a lot in business. I think you hear it a lot in corporations and how you hear mission and vision, all these things. I think very practically, when you're thinking about culture, it's ultimately the DNA of you and your team. How are you all set up? What is the language that you all use internally? What differentiates you from every other company? And the reason why an employee or a teammate that's a high performer would choose your company versus every other company to be a part of, right? And I think it's very easy to sum culture up into 3 main things. It's your mission, your vision, and your values, MVV. The mission is the reason why your company exists. What is the big why? For us, Pima's mission is to end entrepreneurial poverty. So when a teammate or potential hire sees Pima and they hear our mission, if they're passionate about entrepreneurship and what the impact is that entrepreneurship can have on communities and on societies, they get excited about that mission, right? It's that big why behind it. What is the reason we get up every single day? It has to have that aspirational feel to it. So I think thinking about what is your why? Aside from making money, that's cool and all. I think that's why entrepreneurs start a business, is to make money. But what's the aspirational part of it? What is the impact that you and your team ultimately want to make? Because I think about really high performers and what gets people excited to be a part of something, it's the mission. It's the why. It's the why behind the company. Then we talk about vision. Vision is that big picture someday goal that you have for the company. Vision can be very tangible. You can put a metric on the vision on what you all are trying to hit. So a vision could be, hey, we're trying to hit $100 million valuation or $100 million revenue. that's a very clear vision that you all are working towards, right? So think about vision as like that bigger picture someday goal. And then we have values. Values is, how do you and your team interact with each other and with clients? How do you interact with stakeholders and people that are really collaborating with you and your team? So values can boil down to, how do we do things on a day-to-day? Like, do we value integrity? Do we value passion for people? Do we value candor? And I think values has really allowed us to hire and fire the right people. Because with mission and vision, that's really internal. That's what we're building, and this is very company facing. When you think about values, it's very easy to hire and fire based on values because you're looking external. When I'm looking at a potential candidate, they could have all the right qualities and tick all the boxes in terms of the skills that they have, the qualifications that they have. Do they have the experience to do the job? But that added extra layer is, are they in alignment with our values? Do they value winning, which is our 10th value, but it's the most important one. If I'm interviewing somebody and I ask them the question of, like, what does winning mean to you? And they don't get like extremely excited about that question, like winning is everything or whatever the answer is, they don't get excited about it. I just know that they're not a fit for our team, because every single person on our team values winning. They're here to win. They're here to dominate. Not even a question about it. So I think values allows us to align with the right people that are going to move us forward to the mission and the vision.
So values isn't like a right or a wrong. Like, somebody could value, like, I just like balance, 4-day work week. I like that lifestyle, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not like one's wrong and one's not, whatever. It's that we as a tribe, we value winning. Like, it's an obsession of ours. And so if we're meeting somebody, it's not like they're right or wrong for not liking that. But if they're not obsessed with winning, it's like, hey, no worries, part ways as friends. So I think that kind of leads us into, I know I've made the mistake, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs that are listening to this can make that mistake of, hey, we need somebody to do sales. We need somebody for this sales role or for this CSM role or for this whatever role. Let's just get somebody who's good, or like, let's just get somebody.
Yes.
So why is it important, as you're hiring, as you're building a team, to look at culture, and how do we even do that when we're recruiting?
Yeah.
Versus just finding like the best person to do the role.
Yeah. I love what you said there, which is, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right or wrong to value one thing over another. When you think about the word value, what you value, it's what do you put weight on? In a list of priorities, like, what is top of the 10 priorities that you put weight on? What do you value over something else? And so it comes down to the word of alignment. If I'm putting weight and value on these 5 things, and you're putting weight and value on another 5 things, when we come together and say the business goes through something really challenging, our priorities are going to be way off. Right? And so even though you could tick all the boxes in terms of skills, if there isn't alignment in values, you don't have anything at the end of the day, because challenges are going to happen in business. It's not a question of if, it's a matter of when. And if you have people on the team that are in full alignment in terms of values, these are the 5 or 10 things that we value. We value winning. We value being obsessed with client experience. That's what we're going to lean on when things get difficult. But if you have people that are prioritizing or putting weight on several different things and there's no unity or alignment, you essentially don't have a solid tribe, right? And that's what a culture really allows you to build is a tribe.
So maybe we could just take 1 minute to dig into the concept of a tribe. Because I know sometimes people say, like, my coworkers are like family, or it's, like, separate business from personal life. There's like all these different beliefs on, what a culture or company culture is. When you say tribe, what is it that you mean? And ultimately, like, what is a tribe from the standpoint of the culture that we have? Like, what does that mean to be a part of the tribe?
Yeah. There's the quote that says, I think everybody knows this, like, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I think a lot of people put that focus on family, friends, people outside of work, not realizing that the majority of your waking life is spent at work. So if I'm building a company, best believe I want to be spending time with people that are high performers, that are in alignment with my values, people that are going to force me to level up, right? And with a tribe, you get to choose. With our tribe, we've chosen, these are our values, this is the vision, the mission, and we get to choose who joins into that and who doesn't, right? And I think when you're thinking of the concept of a tribe, people have chosen to buy into something. People have chosen to join the tribe, and there's certain rules or requirements to be a part of it. We're not just letting anybody in. And I think when we can take that approach with culture, where it's like, this is the list of values that we've set out, this is the mission and the vision, we can then dictate who comes in, who joins, and who doesn't, simply to protect the integrity of the tribe. For example, like I think I'm the mama bear. I am not letting anybody near my team who does not tick the boxes in terms of the values.
Yeah.
Because one, I know the people on the team have worked extremely, extremely hard to get to where we are. And we have these certain values that you have to hit no matter what because of the quality of the tribe. Quite literally, one bad apple will spoil the bunch. We've seen as high as, hey, it's like one person, we're not sure if they really like gel with the culture and the values. We let them in, and all of a sudden, like you can just feel the culture of the team shifts, and like something's a little off, and it's that one person that has literally come in and contaminated the tribe. So because of how much emphasis we put on who we let in and who we don't, it allows us to have the amazing team that we have today. You can come to any one of my teammates today, ask them what our mission, our vision, and our values are, and they can recite it at the click of a button because they're so bought in. They're bought into what we're doing at Pima. They're bought into the mission, the vision, and where it's ultimately going to take them as individuals with their personal, professional, and financial goals as well. I get excited about this stuff. I could talk about this all day.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that stuck out to me was, and it's proven scientifically through research and studies, one negative person, if you like, let's say you have 7 really positive people, one negative in person will have a bigger impact negatively on a culture than 7 positive people.
Yeah.
And so one of the biggest things that I love about what you're saying there is it allows you to choose who you allow into the tribe, how you judge people, how you keep people on, how you gauge their performance, is because people don't realize it's not like, well, if I've got 3 good ones and 1 bad one, well, that bad one does a good job in their role.
Yeah.
That bad one is making more of a negative impact than the 3 amazing ones are.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you said you're like a mama bear protecting the culture, like, not like a mother hen. You're like a mama bear. Like that's a different visual. You know what I'm saying? Like that's and I think that's good because the way humans think is that they think linear in growth. Well, I just put in this activity, I'm going to slowly grow. But growth is not linear. It's like exponential. Work. Then you grow.
Yeah.
Right. Same with culture. It's not even like, oh, I've got one guy, one bad person. It's like, no. You have to always be raising the level. Like I know Jeff Bezos, his big thing is every new hire he has to raise the standard, whereas most people are just like, I need to fill the seats, I've got a good culture. They think that the culture itself will lift up a negative person, but you're never going to get somebody who's out of alignment with your values to be put in alignment with your values just because you have good culture. So
absolutely not.
You know, there's a really good friend of ours, Henry. He always talks about the second law of thermodynamics, of everything will get worse without energy. And I think the same thing is true of culture. So like, what are some practical ways that you can actually implement this culture? You know, you mentioned what it was, the MVV. You mentioned like how you want to protect it, mostly focus on, you know, getting the bad out, getting the good in. But like, how do we do this? How do you start? How do you maintain? And how do you continue to, as Jeff Bezos would say, raise that standard as the company grows?
Yeah. It all starts with you as the entrepreneur, as the founder, co-founder, because ultimately culture is built from the top down. Because if you don't build culture's naturally going to form. And you want to control the culture of your team. If you are not building it, it is going to form. And trust me, it's not going to be good. So it starts with you as the owner. What are your values? What are things that you hold close? You know, you and I spent the whole of 2020 thinking about culture, rebuilding, like, what do we want this company to look like? What are your values as an individual, as a founder? Because there has to be alignment between the values that we're putting together as a company and my personal values. Because ultimately, the team's going to do what I do and not what I say. So you have to have alignment between how you're showing up as the owner, what values do you have, and are they in alignment with your company values? So I think having that synergy is really, really important. So, I mean,
can I ask you something on that?
Yeah, sure.
Is it okay? You know, I think there can be a little bit of like guilt for entrepreneurs. Like they feel guilty about wanting to build a company that makes them money.
Yeah.
But, you know, as we know, the true goal of a business is to reward the risk taker, the entrepreneur. And the way you do that is by having great customer service. It's by giving a great opportunity for your employees. But when we look at culture, is it okay to be selfish about, like, as you're thinking about this, what do I want my culture to be? Like, is it okay to build a culture that's just built around, like, your values as they exist right now?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. You're building the company at the end of the day, right? So why not make the kind of company that you'll enjoy showing up to and that attracts people that are like you, that are like-minded, that share common values? Essentially, that's what you're creating, right? You're creating a type of organization that's different from any other organization out there. And how do you do that? You just match it to your DNA as the founder. What do you value? What do you put priority and weight on? Because then you're going to attract other like-minded people versus me trying to create the value similar to Amazon. Will I resonate with that? Is that what's going to get me excited? Is that what's going to allow me to hire and fire based on those values? No, but if I create it based on what I personally put weight on, something that's going to get me excited every day, get around people that are excited what I get excited about, that's how you build a culture that lasts and sustains. Because as you mentioned, culture is not just a set it and forget it.
Yeah.
It has to be constantly maintained over time. There has to be repetition of the mission and repetition of the values. And I don't get sick of the values. Why? Because they're part of our DNA. It's like the way you and I operate, right?
So they're part of the way we personally make decisions.
Literally. Yeah. So if you want that sustaining business and sustaining culture, it has to be in alignment with you as the founder personally.
Wow. Wow. That's so good. Build a company culture that is like, what do I want? What are my values? Let me refine that. Let me put that into a mission, vision, value. Spend some time on that because you're going to spend a lot of time in the future on that. Make it clear. Make it something that you can wake up every day and get excited about. That's going to attract good talent. And then be okay if somebody that's a perfect fit for the role, but not in alignment with values, be okay passing on that. Definitely pass on anybody that's going to spoil the batch.
Yes. Can I say something on that too?
Yeah.
I think it's helpful for you to explain what having bad culture is like. Like, what is it like waking up, going to work with people that you don't want to be around, that has a toxic culture? I mean, we've painted the picture of what it's like to have an amazing culture that we have today at Pima. We have the most amazing team, the most amazing culture, and it's taken work and energy to get here.
Yeah.
What would it look like in the opposite direction? You have like firsthand experience.
Building bad culture is easy. Like, it's so easy, but then it makes life hard. Like everything in life, it's like, if you're willing to be hard on yourself, life will become infinitely easier. If you are easy on yourself, if you're lazy in building culture, your culture is going to suck and it's going to be hard and it's going to be brutal. So I want to be clear. The company, when I first built it, 243, retainer clients, the culture was 100% my fault. I hired the people. I allowed culture to develop without direction.
Yeah.
I allowed all of these things because, money was coming in and it was exciting and it was fun. I own that. As an entrepreneur, wherever we are as a human being, wherever we're at in life, we're there because of the decisions that we have made. And until we can take ownership on that, we can't fix it.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, like 100% ownership on that, I will say that bad culture, when you have people that are, telling your, starting, competing businesses on the clock, messaging your client saying, hey, dispute all the charges you've paid to Pima and then give the money to me. I'll give you the same service for less money. When you have, when you're in really, as the business is crashing, when you have your manager coming to you and saying, if you don't give me equity in the company, I'm gonna quit and start a competing business. When you start having all of these things happen, it's like brutal. It's savage. I've been through a divorce. I've been through some crazy shit. I've never been through something as brutal and heart-wrenching and just tear your gut out as a company that has terrible culture, that you're stressed about every single freaking day, every moment, and it's just grinding you, and you're just waking up just like, I don't even but it's a train. It's once the company's built to a certain size, that culture, and it's taken on, it is a steaming freight train that you do not know how to stop. It's impossible to stop. Then on the other side, putting the hard work in, being disciplined, passing on that good employee that could do a great job, that could be a killer closer and make you a bunch of money because they're not a culture fit.
Yes.
Passing on that, all of the sacrifices you have to make along the way is so worth it to show up and be like, damn, I like every person here. They're not my family, they're my tribe.
Yes.
Right?
You actually enjoy meeting with every single person on the team. And think about it from an employee's perspective. Every single person on our team gets excited about meetings. They're excited when the tribe comes together. They love showing up for work because of the culture that we've built. So if you want to build an amazing organization that's sustainable, where everybody on the team is bought into the mission and vision and how can we make the company more successful, where you have teammates thinking about the stuff on the weekends, like how can we win, how can we dominate, how can we do better, it starts at culture. That's ultimately what it boils down to.
You gave one little, I know we're not talking about recruiting right now, you gave one little secret that I think is too good to not share in this episode. And that is finding people that are thinking about this stuff on the weekend.
Yes.
Can you, because I know what you mean when you say that. And that is absolutely a game changer. When you say finding people that get excited about this stuff on the weekends, what do you mean by that? And how does that really set up, the kind of culture that we have where you're just energized to be in meetings with these people?
Yes. It comes down to really how you interview and how you hire. Mm-hmm. We have a very dialed in interview and recruiting process to find people for specific roles. Say it's software development or marketing, whatever we're hiring for, we want to find people that are thinking about that specific thing on the weekend. It just simply means, does it excite them? Do they get excited about this topic that we are hiring for? Do they just do it to fill a role, or does it energize them? When they talk about their area of expertise, do they light up? Do you see them you can see their face change in an interview when somebody's talking about something they're passionate about. Those are the kind of people that I want on my team. People that get excited about the topic that we are hiring them for. If we're talking about sales, and I ask a question in an interview, what sales books have you read? What courses have you taken? I want somebody that gets excited about it, that wants to share all the different courses they've taken on sales, that they're obsessed with sales, that it gets them energized, versus somebody that's just done it for the last 10 years because they're good at it. And that difference in spotting that in an interview is how you get people that are bought in, but also that are actually doing the stuff on the weekends. So it comes down to finding or hiring for that unique expertise.
Yeah, I think about you know who I'm talking about. There's a guy on our team, and he's We've really encouraged him to pursue he loves coding, computer science. We've paid for courses. I mean, and this guy's built some of our AI tools.
Yeah.
Like on his free time.
Yes.
Because he like loves it.
He loves it.
He loves it. And it's like you're not going to find that if you have people that are saying, thank God it's Friday, and God forbid you as the fucking owner, like if you as the owner are saying case in the Mondays or thank God it's Friday, you already have a toxic culture.
Correct.
And so when you find people that are thinking about this on the weekends, this is an anti thank God it's Friday culture. It's like, well, we killed it. It's okay to be like, damn, we grinded it out that week. I am proud of myself. I'm glad that I get a recharge. Saturday, recover. Yeah. But thank God it's Friday. The hell are you doing? Most of your life is spent in this tribe, in this company. It's got to be a culture you love. It's got to be people that are excited to get back to it on Monday. It's got to be people that you are energized working with. And I think what you've really laid out here for us, and I know for a fact because you were the foundation and backbone of Pima 2.0, of the culture. Like literally, there's never been one Zoom room I've been in where a team meeting, a one-on-one with a person, and I think we got 20-some teammates right now, right? There's never one time that I'm like, I don't want to be in this room with this person. So
we actually get energized from meeting with our teams. I think it's knowing too, as an entrepreneur, regardless of where you're at in your journey, that it's possible for you. You can start on that journey of building amazing culture. Whether you are just starting out as an entrepreneur or you've run your business 10, 20 years, you can still start on that journey of building amazing culture with some of the tips that we've given in this episode.
And in fact, if it's just you, this is the perfect time to solidify it, right?
Yes.
I think too many people think when I build it, I'll put it together.
No, that's the time now. The time is
right now.
This was awesome.
It was fantastic. I mean, just to kind of recap, making sure we walk away. Our goal is not to have an entertaining show, though I hope you got entertained. Our goal is that if you walk away with one or two actionable items that will change your business. As we know, the British cycling team was one of the worst cycling teams in the world. They implemented the 1% change where they were constantly making 1% change on the tires, on the outfits they were wearing, like washing their hands so less, like getting less sick. All the 1% changes, they ended up running 7 Tour de France's or something crazy. Don't quote me on that. But it's those 1% changes that make the big difference. And take one, maybe two, maybe three things from this episode and what am I going to implement right now? Go figure out your mission, your vision, your values. Figure out what those are and be okay to be a little bit selfish as the entrepreneur. The company is built to reward the risk taker and is built to be in alignment with your personal values. Like that's okay. So figure out what those are. Number one, mission, vision, values. We have 10 values. We started with 7. Don't change the values as you go along. Figure them out. Spend enough time so that once they're there, you keep and you stick with them. And once you have that figured out, start looking at what does this look like to hire and recruit around the values? Like what are the non-negotiables? It doesn't matter how great somebody is about this role if they don't have those values. And what else? So, what else am I missing here that we really want to make sure they walk away with?
Yeah, spot on. I think it's being okay with hiring and firing based on the values. Because ultimately the work that you put in to protect your tribe is going to be what sets up your business for long-term sustainability and success.
If you got value from today's show at all, and you have any friends that you think could value from this, make sure to share it with them. Don't hoard this information for yourself. If you know somebody else dang, I know another entrepreneur that could really use some help with their culture, man. They're really struggling right now, or they just started a new business, or they've been running a business for a while and I don't think they had this in order. Send them over here. Let them get the same value that you got from this.
Rate the show if you found value. And remember, domination is not a destination. It's a way of life. Stay winning.